Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, start offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's news.
Hey, Hogs Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at the DUM Show and his website. Yeah, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. What are we doing?
It's Red Friday. RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. A movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday. As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to DUMShow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
Good evening, good happy Red Friday. Everybody's red in the... Wait a second. 1,
Leroy.
2...
I'm not the odd man out tonight.
I got to start over. Hold on. 1, 2, 3.
I just came from dinner. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with you?
I just came from dinner. It was a celebratory dinner, and it was kind of, yeah. Sorry.
May I ask what you were celebrating?
Anyway.
A birthday.
Ladies and gentlemen, Leroy Jenkins
Not mine.
is in the house, kind of. He's not going to have a video tonight, so he's going to be audio only because
Oh, my God.
he doesn't care about veterans. So, Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins.
You know, you give just one guy a little bit of control,
That's
and
right.
he goes nuts with it, right?
That's right. That's right. Now I got to find your camera again. Let's. Nope, that ain't it.
Now you done it.
Nope, that ain't it. See? Oh, here it is. Maybe. Hey, there it is.
All
Good
right.
to have you here, Leroy. Amy's here. Amy's has red on. Thank God she cares about veterans. Go ahead, Amy. Welcome.
Hi. And you're like, holy cannoli. Oh, mother of God.
We got to get that soundbite with Dylan Mulvaney. Hi.
Hi.
Olivia Spear wearing the Khaleesi hair today, which I always love because that means tonight's going to be awesome. Welcome to the beautiful hair, Olivia Spear, everybody.
All right.
Olivia Spear's in the house, and my name is Matthew Spear. I'm the host of Don't Unfriend Me. Welcome to the show. It's Friday night. I'm feeling all right, and we're going to do an open mic night tonight. We haven't done this with the Don't Unfriend Me fans in a while, and really, it's your show. Whatever y'all want to talk about, we can talk about current events. There might be some things that the hosts want to talk about, but I don't imagine that this is going to be, I don't know, sometimes we always say, hey, these are going to be an hour, and they wind up being 3.5, but I don't imagine that's going to happen tonight. It does happen, but in this case, we would love to get your comments, your thoughts, your questions, something you got going on. You can ask a question of a host. You can talk about something in the current climate. You might be what would be considered left or right and have some overall statements to make. Whatever you want to talk about, it's completely up to you. I didn't know I had my old Captain America hat, and I found this in the closet today, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this damn thing on. So good to have everybody here. So a lot going on. Had a chance to do a video today. We haven't had a chance to watch it with Ronald Reagan and Johnny Carson. Something I remember watching on replay, I think in 79 or 80 is what it would have to be, because I'm talking at an early age. I loved watching Johnny Carson. I thought he was hilarious. And I was one of those younger. I didn't do cartoons till very old. I think 4 or 5, and then I popped smoke on that. But it was a good time. It was just a funny show. And Johnny Carson and Ronald Reagan wound up talking, and I thought it would be good to make a show on it, because it came across my purview, and I said, hey, this might be.
You know what was great about Carson? I mean, really, truly great about Carson was the fact that he didn't really have any problems in terms of having a poke at himself. He was humble enough that he would be the butt of the joke sometimes, and he was okay with that. It was anything to make everyone laugh, and I really loved that about him.
Yeah, it wasn't vulgar. He was able to talk intellectually if he wanted to, but he was also able to, have Frank Sinatra on and have a few scotches before the show. And that guy constantly smelled like Listerine, because he was always drunk. But that's the way it was back then. Would I consider making a Discord group channel? No. I've already tried it, and it's no. Too much of a headache, too much drama. I've already done it, and I'm just not into it. It's just too much. It's too much stupid stuff. It's like, you got avatars, and you got subscriptions, and it's just stupid. I can't stand Discord, so no, I won't. But what I will do as soon as Twitter authorizes my Twitter groups channel is I want to do shows from call-ins where you can pick up your phone, go on your patio, and call into the show, and we can all hear each other over the phone, and you can unmute your phone and chime in, and we all can kind of have a conversation. And I think those Twitter spaces are fantastic. But no, I Discord, no, because we can't monitor it. I can pump the show to it, but it's just no on Discord. I'm going to say no. But in the future, like I said, I want to do Twitter spaces. We want to start doing some off the cuff. And in Twitter, I can do subscriber only. Like, we can have a show that's specifically designed for DUM Nation members. And I can do that here. But right now, we're loaded up. We're doing 3 to 5 shows a week live. And then I'm doing now 3 segments, and then another 3 or 4 or 5 videos, and then a ton of meme posting. I mean, it's busy. The channel's busy. There's no doubt. So to answer your question, not right now, but maybe in the future, we'll do something like that with Twitter. Okay? Cool. Right on. But you can go to Rumble. If you haven't been to Rumble, go on over there and you can follow us. The new shirt is out. Pretty excited about that. The Leave Our Kids Alone shirt with the oil painted lion on the front. It looks pretty cool. We've had quite a few orders on that. So if you haven't had a chance, go over to thedumshow.com. Get 10% off using code DUM10. All right, let's get it started. What are we talking about? SCOTUS decisions. Big one tonight. I predicted that. I don't know. I talked about this when Joe Biden was 0-5 and said that he has lost 5 Supreme Court decisions. He tied his entire campaign, very similar to the wall that Donald Trump said, Mexico would pay for. We're getting a wall up and all that. And although Mexico wound up paying for it through the USMCA and trade negotiations and reducing the deficit between Mexico and the United States and Canada, which had a profound impact. Of course, liberals won't give him any credit for that. But the $1 trillion, 42 million debt forgiveness is done. Now, Biden is sitting here and saying, well, we're going to see what we can do. We're going to see if we can do it through ACA loans. And listen, you're not going to give $1 trillion away, okay? It's not going to happen. And there's no way that Joe Biden is going to get that money from the House. So what they're doing is the House is trying to expand the court because affirmative action got struck down. Roe v. Wade got struck down. And the one thing in common with all 3 of those cases is constitutionality, is that they're not constitutional. And that's ultimately what the SCOTUSes are doing. So when they're saying that the SCOTUS is political, it's not political. They're doing their jobs. And if you look, there was a gerrymandering case that just was actually went against Republicans. There was some gun legislation.
That was Moore versus Harper.
Moore versus Harper, which had to do with how they redistrict and how they ultimately draw the lines for certain groups and certain districts under voting, and that you can't actually go ahead and do that based upon demographics and race is one portion, but there's some other things to it. We'll go into the intricacies. But either way, the Supreme Court is hot right now, and it should be because they're about ready to end before they go into the summer session. And the big one that people I don't even seem to know about is, yes, Roe v. Wade, yes, affirmative action, yes, that they also said there's another one that people haven't heard about where, and Leroy has the name of the case, but I try to put things in simplistic terms that the graphic designer doesn't have to actually do graphic design work for homosexual clients. And this goes back to the Cake case in Colorado, where the guys drove through 4 counties to go to this one place because they knew that they would be turned away and they wanted the coverage. But there's also another big one that nobody's talking about. And I've been talking about this for 2 years. They're looking at mail-in ballots and the efficacy of the states. Now, here's the one piece of it where they did vote in favor, is saying that judges can, under emergency situations, make decisions that the state legislature doesn't have to. Now, that's a loss for Republicans because obviously that's how we saw all the mail-in ballots go out for the election. But they're still checking on mail-in ballots if they have authority to overall send ballots out from an unsolicited standpoint, which I think had a huge, huge impact on the election. So let's open it up, get some dialogue going. I'd like to hear the dummies ask some questions tonight. You're first and foremost. Any topic we're talking about can be interrupted. If you have a question, if you want some clarity on something or just get some opinion, go ahead and do it. Who wants to go first?
Can we throw up the call-in link?
I mean, yeah, we'll do that.
I would really love it if we could get some lefties to call in. I think that would be fantastic.
Lefties aren't going to call in. Dude, you might as well go ahead and shit in your hand and
wish in the other,
and see which fills up first. So.
I get it. But again, that offer is still standing, and it's not because we're looking to destroy people on air or to embarrass or anything like that. This is about having a conversation, and if we can keep the Constitution at the heart of all of these debates, and talk about the efficacies of such. I think that's where we want to. We don't want to name call. We don't want to let a conversation devolve into a pissing match. We don't want that. What we do want to find out is, all right, who is acting as the dictator on this side of the legal case, and who are you oppressing? If we can get to that point, I think that would be beneficial.
All right.
Right?
So dude, just. God, you're such long in the tooth when it comes to getting people to call. Just freaking call in, and if you get destroyed, suck it up, Buttercup. Okay,
or that,
Suck it up, you big giant floppy vagina. I'm trying to get all these windows out. I don't know what freaking happened to all my windows. I don't understand. So there's Leroy's window. That's good.
Amy, yes, we still have the bearded dragon.
Why are they asking about the bearded dragon?
Amy wanted to know if we still had our bearded dragon.
Oh,
yeah, she was out running around earlier today.
Yeah, no, we lost her. We made a code out of her. Okay, Leroy. So let's. Who wants to talk about SCOTUS? Who wants to talk about some of the things that are taking place? Anybody?
Well, I mean, it was a busy week.
Okay, Olivia wants to. No, Leroy. Olivia wants to. Olivia, you got. Okay, new rule. Leroy, you have to wait 10 seconds before you can say anything because the ladies take a little bit to go. Okay, ladies, go.
And then what happens is you talk, and then you take all of our points, and we have nothing to say. So we just sit here like
who, me or Leroy?
No, both of you.
Well, yeah, it's our fault. You're such a victim. Maybe you should go ahead and identify as a male, and you can actually say things that are more effective.
Oh, burn. Yeah.
Just saying. I mean,
just all you have to do is go.
Sounds like you're jealous to me.
I didn't say that, folks. Folks,
I did.
The complaints are headed to
holy shit! What is going on with our windows? God, this is a hot mess. I need to fix this. So somebody say something, please, because I got to fix all this shit.
Olivia,
there's 3 of me. Yes.
Say your damn piece, Liv. Hurry up.
Gosh. Okay, so you called me at work earlier and told me about this, and I was like, yay, I couldn't really celebrate because it was working. But I think it's great that our taxes are not going up.
Who's pumping? That's you. That's not me. You're pumping it from your computer.
Oh, jeez. I was like, what? Oh.
Nice, Liv. Then we're going to get freaking flagged. We're going to get flagged. Thanks a lot. Now the whole show's going to get shut down. Copyright infringement. All right, Liv, do you have...
Sorry, I was like, what in the world was that?
All right, so you couldn't celebrate. Finish your statement,
I was
please.
just saying, I'm just very happy that we don't have to our taxes are not going up for it. And I mean, I think Biden is probably going to not have a chance to win in 2024 because he's now going to lose the vote of the millennial generation and part
Do
of
you
Gen
think
Z.
that? Hold on. Do you think that, or do you think they're actually going to blame Republicans because they're already trying? We heard Sleepy Joe come out and get really pissed off. I don't know if anyone had a chance to see this, but he got mad. I mean, I've seen him piss before, but he was really mad. And we'll play it, but would like to get your thoughts. So, Olivia, you think that what?
I think that he's going to lose some of the vote. I mean, I don't know if all of them, but I think some people are going to be really mad that his promises he made on the campaign trail in 2020, none of them happened. None of them came true. And, I just think they're going to be upset.
Well, he did get the infrastructure bill through that basically gave more money to Ukraine. So we got to go ahead and give him those props. Leroy or Amy, either one. Who wants to go?
Can I just say something really quick about Joe Biden?
Sure.
I'm not a doctor, clearly. But
well, then you're not qualified to talk about anything because like Katani Brown Jackson, you have to be a biologist to go ahead and talk about sex. So unfortunately,
I did study biology. I was thinking about this earlier because I feel like Joe Biden has been so angry lately, and dementia runs in my family. And I know that was one of the first signs, not just forgetfulness or having trouble speaking, but it was anger. My family members would get extremely angry over very easy, conversations. It would just infuriate them. And I feel like he's been lashing out at the press, especially lately, like he's yelling at people. And I'm just saying it could be dementia, maybe. I don't know.
I've been saying he's had dementia for a while.
Well, listen to this. Where's that pumping through, honey?
That was speakers.
Okay, I got it. Hold on, everybody. Let me just switch the audio. Okay, hold on, folks. I got to get this. But here's the audio coming. I apologize, but I got to run it through the other audio channel. Hold on. All right, so here's the first one, and I've got another one too that I'll show you, and you can tell me what you guys think. But he just he starts rambling about Afghanistan.
Remember what I said about Afghanistan? I said Al Qaeda would not be there. I said it wouldn't be there. I said we'd get help from the Taliban. What's happening now? What's going on? Read your press. I was right. Thanks.
He's generally asking, what's going on? He has no idea.
What's going on? What's dude? The Taliban.
Who's the Taliban?
I just
I was right. It's what we did. Our strategy here in America.
What's going on?
Was we gave ownership of the country from one dictatorship to another. I was right.
Well, Al Qaeda, if he doesn't understand which president he is, that was shut down by the caliphate. Al Qaeda was spread out. They're all over Europe. They're all over the Middle East, and that problem was solved long before he got there. Okay, so watch his posture and everything else. It's gonna be in your lower left hand corner, and try not to take over Amy here. Watch this. Just watch his demeanor.
No, all the evidence is coming back there. Remember what I said about Afghanistan? I said Al Qaeda would not be there. I said it wouldn't be there. I said we'd get help from the Taliban. What's happening now? What's going on? Read your press. I was right. Thanks.
So they are the press, dude. He's such a grumpy. He's such a grumpy old putz.
Read the press. Like what should I have done? Looked around the room and said, "Hey guys, do we agree?"
Yeah.
I just don't understand what. Go ahead, Ames.
No, I think he was just asking what's going on. Like legitimately, he has no idea.
Okay. Well, if you think that's bad,
here in the past.
I didn't.
Mr. President.
Dude, he yells at a woman. I mean, it's like, I'm like, that's her truth, buddy. That's her truth.
Yeah.
Listen to this. Seriously, watch him and listen.
Why did you give millions of borrowers false hope?
He can't listen when you gabbing there, whiskey boy.
Mr. President, why did you give millions of borrowers false hope? You've doubted your own authority here in the past.
I didn't give any false hope. The question was whether or not I would do even more than was requested. What I did, I thought was appropriate and was able to be done and would get done. I didn't give bars false hope, but the Republicans snatched away the hope that they were given, and it's real hope. Thank you.
Mr. President, will you?
What in the hell? First of all, he did. He even said, listen, we're going to go ahead and present this, and we know it may not be constitutional. He openly said that. It literally said that on the White House lawn before getting on Marine One, and they said, "What do you think about the calls from the Republicans that this is unconstitutional?" He said, "Well, it very well may be, but we're going to go. We believe that it is," and said specifically that he knew it was, and he's lying. He's lying. This guy has no concept of where he is at. He is a mondo dismo. He is a fungoid. He is a wallflower on 1970 Mrs. Roper's paper. He's just so out there. This guy, his snozberries do not taste like snozberries.
Snozberries taste like snozberries.
They don't taste like snozberries. He has no idea where he's at. This guy probably likes the Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp, with the illegal alien Oompa Loompas. Seriously, dude, what the hell's up with that? The illegal alien Oompa Loompas. I don't understand.
So when I came home, I was looking at the news, and I found an article that I thought was hilarious. So
we're shifting from the Supreme Court that quickly?
No. It has to do with the SCOTUS
okay.
decision.
Okay.
So there is a, it's the wrong article. It's a New York state senate, and she's former, and her name is Alessandra Biaggi, I think.
Okay.
So she's complaining. She owes $206,000 in student debt loan, and she's bitching and complaining on Twitter that she owes this, and it's not getting paid for, even though her and her husband just purchased a $1.2 million home last year.
Wow, that's kind of like a
life must be hard, considering that she just bought it, and she lived in a $673,000 home or something like that earlier, but she bought a new house.
$1 million home isn't what it once was.
No, but still, you're spending $1.2 million on a home.
Liv, I'm joking.
I know.
I'm being facetious. Yes. So her tweet says she probably deleted it by now.
I have it right here.
Well, I know, but it's not up on my screen because you didn't send it to me. So I'm trying to find it because I made a comment on it too. I said, "Times are hard, massa. Times are hard." That's what I said on her. I love not getting banned from Twitter. It looks like she punted it. I think it's gone because I commented on it. I saw it too. But the one thing about Twitter is nothing is gone forever because all we need to do is do a search. So you guys can read it. Here it is. Let's see. Here it is. See, that quick. So it says, in 2012, I graduated from Fordham Law School with $180,000 is student loan debt. It's obviously paid off. Can't spell. I've been paying loans for 11 years, even paid off 2 of them completely. In 2023, my balance is $206,000.
Okay.
So my whole thoughts were, you should have majored in economics because you're horrible at finances.
It's considering that it went up from 193 to 206. What have you been doing?
Well, stop making minimum payments. You're making minimum payments on your loan, and that the interest is compounding. I mean, what do you want? Well, who the hell has a loan out from 2012 that's 11 years old, and you've literally put $26,000 on? What have you been? You haven't been paying it. She's just letting it sit there.
She's probably waiting for it to get paid off by someone else.
I don't understand these people. Anyway, Leroy, go ahead.
I think that the federal law says that after a certain number of years that the whole amount gets forgiven anyway. But that being said, in terms of this whole shifting people's school debts to the taxpayers doesn't seem very, that seems like that's going to be a hard sale for the rest of America. You have to understand that most of the Americans have paid something off, a car, a house. They have taken out loans before. So when we hear this crybaby story about, these people are saying that they're having a hard time paying this stuff off, you're not getting a lot of bleeding heartstrings unless it is from other people with debt specifically from college.
Right, bad debt. Fair enough.
And so it makes the argument a whole lot more difficult to be able to say, well, wait a minute, you took out these loans willingly and you want people to pay for them. You want to shift that debt over to taxpayers who have not signed on to take on your debt. So that's a really, really tough sale. And really the whole thing is in an effort to garnish some level of voter support, right? A specific demographic, we're probably talking the 20 to 30-year-old female and male audience, right? People who would be most vulnerable to have that level of debt. And so it's clearly just an attempt to garnish votes for the 2024 election.
Amy, did you have any schooling that you paid for?
Nope, not a dime.
Okay. Well, we're kicking you to the curb.
Sorry.
So,
Yeah,
Amy,
sorry.
bye, Amy. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So,
Sorry,
as
it's
far
my
as the-
white privilege.
Yeah, they just gave you a degree, right? Because you're just like boobs,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
here's your BA. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
of course your white privilege.
That's what I got mine for.
Yeah, right. Whatever. So here's the thing is that
your
I think I'm the
Leroy.
only person here who went through college loans and went through college. Leroy, did you?
I did.
Well, I don't understand.
but
I understand.
most of mine
lived
were
in a,
from-
well, hold on, time out. You lived in a dorm and you utilized the Navy
No.
College Fund and went through a campus
That's
that
exactly
doesn't
what it
count.
was. I was already out and I utilized the Montgomery GI Bill. That was the extent.
So for what? For online courses, or did you go to a campus?
No. Brick and mortar.
Oh, so you went to like school at night and stuff.
It was part-time. Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
did
right,
not
so
finish.
Did you apply for state tuition assistance and things like that?
No. Nope.
Okay, so you're sitting out of the conversation. You're out too. Olivia, I already know what you did. When I found you on the street, you hadn't had any college experience, so I don't think you have any now.
I went to one semester of college, and I had financial aid and scholarship.
Yeah, but you were on East Colfax when I found you, so that's not the same thing. So, University of East Colfax.
Ooh. You're on a roll tonight, and you think
So,
the Khaleesi hair, you think you're getting some later tonight?
whatever, you're the mother of dragons.
Wow.
You got to tame the dragon. Tame the dragon. But, so, okay, so you had one semester tuition assistance. Did you do dorm or did you live at home?
I went to a community college, so I lived at home.
Okay, so you lived at home. All right, so I'm trying to get everyone's experience. So,
So-
Amy, no.
Wait, I totally forgot. No, I did. I actually paid for community college myself. I totally
Got
forgot.
it.
I did. I
Okay,
totally
so
forgot
community
about
college, but lived at home. Leroy used the GI Bill and did not live on campus, but took part-time courses. Olivia went to one semester of college, got tuition assistance, and that was it. Okay, so we're all fairly similar in our experience. However, I lived off campus, went full-time, had the GI Bill, and worked at the same time. But I also applied for state scholarships as well. So I received, think, $35,000 in GI Bill fund, and I think I received another $20,000 to $25,000 in state-sponsored scholarships that I qualified for. So pretty much all my and then I also did cheerleading. So I was a spotter for the cheerleading squad. So I got $5,000 in tuition for that as well. So here's the thing.
Did you have to wear tights?
Oh no. It was more of first of all, the material is definitely like wearing
Spanx?
dress whites, but not the canvas ones, but the poly ones. The poly ones you get at the necks, the good ones. So it was those twice as thick, and they were sleeved, and then they were long pants, very much like bell-bottom pants, but a little bit tighter on the bottoms because they would have elastic band. So very much like wearing my dress whites from the necks, not the boot camp issue. Horrible. First thing I did was throw those pieces of shit away, and I went to the necks, and I paid $300 for like 3 or 4 full poly nice dress whites. I was like, dude, I'm not doing anything but those. If I'm gonna have to wear the Good Humor Man costume, it's gonna look good when I do it. So that's it. But a funny story is that in the necks, there were 3 types of packages of boxers. There were black boxers, there were white boxers, and then navy blue boxers. And I needed a couple packages because boot camp boxers suck. They're not cotton. They were like polyester, horrible, itchy. Just bleh, threw those away. And I bought
the white ones. Yeah,
I bought the white ones, right? But I was like, also, well, I need more than that. So when I wear my dungarees, I'm not going to wear white ones because they'll turn blue. So I'm going to go get navy dark blue. Well, one morning when I woke up, I didn't have any underwear. So someone had raided my skivvy drawer and taken, because they were out of underwear, took my underwear, and all I had was navy blue. And I was dressed in my whites. And I didn't even think about it. And I put them on. And then I went out. And it looked...
I know.
When I went across the quarterdeck,
I get it.
I this white back and white legs and this giant outline of boxers underneath the white. Imagine what it would. It's like going behind a white curtain and putting your hand there, and that's what it looked like. So, needless to say, I was pretty stupid.
For the folks who are not Navy oriented, it's almost like a more embarrassing version, almost like a wet T-shirt contest, but more for your underwear.
Yeah.
I'm laughing like father, like son. I'm just thinking of Ethan when we went when he played the doubleheader.
Yeah.
And it was raining that day, and he's wearing white pants. He chose not to wear underwear, and then he sat down on one of the benches, and it was wet. And then he goes up to bat, and you can see
his ass
through
crack?
his pants, and he's bending over to hit the bat on the. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Ethan.
It's like, no, and you weren't seeing anything. Come on, it wasn't that bad. But
you
could see his butt cheeks, and you could tell that this guy had not.
And I'm like, Ethan, seriously, dude, you got to wear some underwear.
So Olivia, you get to whoever wants to go because I got to find it. Someone's like, I want to see a picture of you in the.
I've never seen him.
What do you mean?
I never saw you in your uniform.
Yes, you have.
No.
You've seen pictures of me in my uniform.
pictures.
Okay, well
I've
then you
never
have.
seen you in
Do you
your
see how you just said a complete lie? I haven't seen you, but you did, and now you're saying you didn't.
I've never seen you personally in your uniform. I would have been able to see.
All right, well I'm working on that right now. So, who wants to go?
I haven't seen any comments about anyone. Anyone have any comments?
No, I didn't get past the quarterdeck. I walked right to the quarterdeck, and my buddy who was on watch is like, bro, he's like, your boxers are showing. So I freeballed it the whole time, which isn't much better, but I'm just going to let you know it's much better than wearing dark boxers. Quick video, and then I want you guys to see this. This is Joe Biden's, we might need to play this a couple times. This is Joe Biden's, no, not his funeral procession, stop. This is Joe Biden going through the streets and driving his motorcade, and a police officer takes one of the peasants and pushes them off the bike. You got to just see it to believe it and understand it, and I want to get your opinion on this. Here it is. That cop go by like an 80.
Yeah.
Watch it again. Now, the thing that's crazy is you've got one guy on an electric bike who literally goes across the crosswalk, and he's got a walk sign. Look right here over here in this right corner. You see the red?
Yeah.
So that's stopped. So this traffic has right of way. They have right of way, and this officer is not waving anybody off. So watch it again in full stop.
That sounds annoying anyway. Jeez.
So I've got a couple opinions on this. I would like everyone who wants to go.
I'll go.
You guys are boring.
Well, first of all, I will just say, I'm assuming this is in DC. It looks like DC.
It looks like New York to me, but it
I wasn't
doesn't
sure
matter.
with New York. Yeah, it looks like either one. I feel like the buildings there are all kind of. New York has bigger ones, but
It's East Coast. It's definitely run down and shitty.
for sure.
No offense.
But to be on both sides here, if you hear sirens in a city, most people do stop and look around and see whether they don't just head into traffic. That's inviting to be hit by an ambulance or a cop car, in my opinion. So
right, he could be saving somebody's life in that case. So but it's also like, why are you trying to outrace a police car? Right. And obviously, there's a cop standing there, right? So
right. So I mean, but you see one person go through, which the cop started running once the scooter guy went through, like stop. I don't know. I mean, at least he helped him pick his bike up. I have no idea. I I guess I feel a little differently. I mean, I wouldn't expect a cop to push me off my bike, but he's clearly a delivery person. He's probably used to like circumventing sirens and laws and things like that and going around people when he's not supposed to be. So he's probably not really a great law-abiding citizen, just saying.
Yeah, well, I think it was a she. This is boot camp. So this is literally oh my gosh, this is like week 3, right? But week 3 or week 4. Yeah, week 3 or week 4. I was a pup, man.
I just texted my embarrassing picture.
Okay, I'm gonna look at it here. So that's week 3.
I just looked at it.
That's week 3, week 4. Yeah, that's wait, no. That's they you get your dress blues in week 3, and you get fitted for all your. So yeah, this is right after. Listen, underneath, you know what we're wearing? We're wearing blue skivvies. You don't get your full outfit. You're not wearing your full 13 up and downs. You're not wearing your full outfit. You get the top. It doesn't fit. They've got like one universal top, and then they put on a neckerchief that you don't roll and you don't picture. And it's you have your white T-shirt on, you have your lower dungarees on, and your boots, and they throw a hat on you, and you get a picture. So like my hair, I hadn't been to my hair was unsat, like it wasn't short enough. So that's long hair. This is straight out of boot.
Long hair. Look at mine.
You should put your picture in the big where Amy's picture is so we could compare pictures.
I'm going to. I'm talking about I'm sorry. I know Leroy needs attention. I just figured I'd show my picture. I apologize. No, I apologize. Let's go ahead and get Leroy's picture.
It is amazing how much Ethan looks like you.
Yeah, but you're not in boot camp, Leroy. You're not in boot. Oh my God, dude.
Look at that hair.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Well, see, that's long hair. He's got his crow. Your gig line is complete. Look at your gig line. Holy shit. Did you have any stay flow for your shirt? What's wrong with you? Where's your stay flow starch?
That was at about 4 months. We were 4 months into a 6-month deployment.
No doubt. Yeah. No doubt. That looks like a 6-month deployment look.
Yeah. Tired.
It's funny. At least your belt buckle's shiny.
Amy, we should start sharing senior pictures.
No, we're not sharing senior pictures.
Leroy, you look a little bit like Daniel Tosh. I was just Googling to see if I could find.
Yeah, he does look like Tosh there.
Yes, good call. Yeah.
This is Japan. This is rugby. I'm on the left, and this is a game of rugby in Yokosuka, Japan. And we just got off the hop. That's Dave Mackey. Over to the right is Tom Bonafide, and then IS1 Drew. And I never knew his first name because he was one of those people. You can call me IS1, even when we were out. IS1. Okay, dude, you pull your stick out of your butt. No, Drew was a good guy. It wasn't Drew. That was another guy who worked there. But anyway, yeah. So this was the Intel rugby team for USS Blue Ridge. Let's see if we got any other pictures here. I'm sure I do. I honestly, one of the first things I did was burn most of my photographs and everything. Like all my uniforms, I went to Bangor, Washington. One night, went out, put in my blues, put in my whites, put in all my certificates, everything I had, all my Dixie Cup hats, and I lit them on fire. I was so mad getting out, and I was so pissed that I couldn't stay in, and it was just, and it was a personal decision. I'm the one that made the decision to go, but I couldn't do the job anymore to the level that I wanted to, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'll never ever. And I really regret that now because there were so many great photos that I had that we will not be able to see anymore. So anyway, so there it is. I've got some other ones, but I got to find them, and I don't know where they're at. And I definitely have one in my my whites, but I don't know where those went. They're gone. Anyway, last but not least. For tonight, and then if we don't get some comments here, we're gonna pop smoke and go enjoy the weekend. There is a video.
Weekend, right? Most people are like busy.
Well, we had quite a bit on. We got 120 on, which is nice.
Yeah, that's true. I got a 4-day weekend.
Senator LaTanya Jackson has decided. Sorry, I didn't change the screen. By the way, I'm a little bit kerfuckled here. Window and scenes. Here we go. All right, so this video. I just thought everyone would want to watch this. This is just my topic for tonight is Democrats hate Republicans. They hate them. And I was having this conversation with Leroy and Amy and Olivia before we started. And I think a lot of the reason Republicans react the way they do is because we've been called deplorable and racist and Nazis. And what's the worst that Democrats were called? Snowflakes?
Yeah.
Is that the worst
Pretty
thing
much.
that we call it? That they're all very unique and a thumbprint? But there's this escalation
Lefties.
where it's
You get a lot of lefties or
that was
libtards or
after.
things like that, right?
That was after. That was in reaction to. I don't remember us moving down this course of language towards liberals. I just don't.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not sitting here to say that we're both equally guilty now, but I think they truly hate us. And if you listen to the politicians, whether they call us the flyover states or they constantly bring up this one thing, oh, well, red states take all the money from, the blue states, California and New York, for their welfare and everything. I mean, they're so disrespectful. And they don't
really
even
are.
make the correlation that the red states have some of the most menial jobs, whether it's coal factory, digging coal, or steel, or working in automotive plants and agriculture. These are dangerous jobs, and they have some of the highest unemployment rate based on work conditions and getting injured on the job. The health insurance in these areas and the doctors' facilities are not as strong, and the medicinal value and the innovation here. Like an MRI machine, you might have to drive 2.5 hours to get to a proper MRI machine in the middle of the sticks. And it doesn't have the same, readily available care. So of course we're going to have more people who are on unemployment. We're going to have more people who are injured on the job in the workforce and have to retire because they lose limbs. We're sorry that you working at a Starbucks, the worst thing that could possibly happen is you might get a tip under 25 cents or a second-degree burn from some steam on an espresso. But it's different out in the rural areas, and there's just this lack of regard for Republicans, and it's sickening. And here's an example. And it's not like I don't have 1,000 of these to show you, but here's one of the most recent. This is Senator LaTanya Johnson. LaTanya. Doesn't law mean the?
Mm-hmm.
So the Tanya? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little presumptuous. I dub thee LaTanya. Sir Tanya. Anyway, here she is. From Milwaukee, go figure. One of the biggest shitholes on the planet.
Fuck the suburbs. Because they don't know a goddamn thing.
Whoa, lady.
About how life is.
Kissed your mother with that mouth?
See, they can't hear Leroy when you talk over her. So I just didn't. Now we got to listen to it again. So let's try it again one more time without the hosts commenting until after the video so everyone can hear.
Fuck the suburbs. Because they don't know a goddamn thing about how life is in the city.
Wow, she's got a pretty mouth.
Who wants to go? Who wants to start?
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's disgusting. How do you talk that way in anywhere? That's just disgusting. 2, does she live in the suburbs currently, or has she ever lived in the suburbs? Because maybe she doesn't. I mean, she's putting that on the suburbs, saying you don't know what it's like to live in the city, but how do we know she knows what it's like to live in the suburbs?
Maybe she's pissed off because she's not making enough money and getting enough political action committees to throw her money in fundraisers so she can move out of the inner city. Listen, it's just because it's not your choice to live in the inner city doesn't mean it's our choice to have to live in the suburbs.
Right.
We're born where we are. And what do you want? I'm sorry that my white privilege is showing, but I didn't have any choice of that. I didn't go to my parents and say, excuse me, mother, father, this is much, much too white for us. We need to move out. At the age of, 3 months old? And challenge my mom and dad's white privilege. I don't understand that. So when somebody says, fuck the suburbs, what you're saying is that you are a congressional candidate, you have a district that's all black, and you don't give a shit about white people because you can never really care about them because they don't mean anything to you but a vote. And this summarizes the Democratic Party. They don't care about anything but their constituents who can get them reelected, and everyone else be damned. Olivia, you got anything on this?
I'm just shocked somebody would talk like that.
Yeah.
Congress
Really?
or whatever. Yeah.
I've heard you say F this, F that. What's the big deal? Or is it that
I'm not a politician, and I'm not in a state house or wherever she was at and speaking in a public forum.
There you
like
go.
that.
That's a good distinction to make, right?
It's totally different from a video cast, talking about politics to being there and being a politician. And I don't think our politicians should be talking like that. Whatever she does in her own free time, great. But But of course, they can fly flags from different countries there too. So what does it matter if she drops the F-bomb?
Well, let's be honest. The entire city of Milwaukee is a shithole, even the suburbs. I'm sorry. I had a job offer there, and I was considering moving there for about 2 minutes. And then I was like, you have a 2 in 3 chance of having your car hijacked within like an 8-mile radius of Milwaukee. It's an open stat, 66% chance in a long enough period of time living there to have your car jacked. And I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds wonderful. And oh, by the way, you can't carry. Well, no thanks. I'm not going there. And absolutely not. So it's not the greatest of things, but this is what they do. This is what they think. They think every single Trump supporter is an idiot. They think every single Trump supporter doesn't have a brain in their head, that they're racist, that they're homophobic. And this is the temper tantrum. They're melting down over SCOTUS. They're talking about adding Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. as states. They're talking about packing the court. The House is proposing legislation to expand the court. Right now, they're going to get this on the docket and force a vote on this so they can get people on political record. They have every intention of turning this around on Republicans when the SCOTUS just did its job. They did what 80 years of liberal ran courts over the last 100 didn't do. They actually followed the Constitution. Leroy, I know you got something to say about this, so go ahead.
Oh, boy, do I. You know, something that you had said earlier in the beginning of the piece in terms of how ugly the left can be and how we've kind of devolved into when we're talking about politics in terms of parties, right? There's the left and there's the right. There's however you want to define it, whether or not it's conservative, whether or not it's liberal. One thing that always seems to get overlooked is looking at what's happening in terms of the Supreme Court and defining it by is it a point for authoritarianism or is it a point for liberty? And remember that the Constitution, being a document that is intended to keep the government on a very, very tight leash and to really give the citizenry the maximum amount of liberty that we can, you can see where this temper tantrum comes into play. And it's not just from her. It's look at how Joe Biden reacted earlier.
Oh, he's pissed.
You know, when he was on the podium, basically saying this isn't this Supreme Court isn't right. You know, this kind of thing. This isn't the Supreme Court of old. Yeah, you're right. It's not. These are, to Matt's point, these are people that are literally constitutionalists, far better, far more effective, and more knowledgeable than I am. But they're able to look at this and go, no, that's a government overreach. We now have to rule against things like what was happening with what were some of the other cases? It was Moore versus Harper. Oh, the other one. It was Creative LLC versus, I'm going to mispronounce that name, Elenis.
Yeah,
that one was the one that dealt with the. Yeah, well, that one was the one that dealt with the Baker. That was the one that.
Yeah, but the overall case that they decided on was the Baker was the original suit, but they also did several other cases, and the most recent that they decided on was because they've already done the Baker one, was the internet, someone who didn't want to actually build a web page for a homosexual couple.
That's right. Well, and so my point to that, though, is that they all boil down to the same thing, which is a First Amendment right. So the current court is basically able to look at that and say, look, no, this is a clear violation of a First Amendment right. And so now we have to rule in this way. And you have all of these people on the left that are absolutely freaking out about it.
Well,
and so
here's
I
a prime
really
example.
wish we could.
Go ahead. I was going to support you on this. Here's Erica Marsh. Remember I told you about this lady yesterday who said that black people can't move ahead? So so today she came on and she said, I need a defamation lawyer. And I said, Act 1, Erica Marsh, defamation lawyer. And then it says defamation lawyer, semicolon, or Erica Marsh says, hi. And the defamation lawyer goes, hello. Wait a second. Aren't you that white privileged liberal that went ahead and took your white guilt and applied it to all African Americans? And then Erica goes, ... So then she goes, you know what? Screw you, pal. I'm not a racist. And then I went back and I found this tweet from her.
Right.
And she goes, F you to Clarence Thomas. And I said, this you? Question mark with a big smiley face.
Ouch.
So this is what they're doing out there. So to support Leroy, this is all over the place. This is and one more thing. I just want to show you this meme that's going to go up after the show, which is pretty fantastic. It says racist white liberals. And black lady goes, I'm not a and she covers her hand and goes, shh, yes, you are. You just aren't aware and need me to white-splain your oppression for you. You are feeble and lower than me and need me to be your savior. You cannot get by without me. Go ahead, Leroy.
In terms of the court cases that were heard this week between Moore and Harper and Creative LLC versus Elnius, the other one, the big one, was for the Student for Fair Admissions versus the University of North Carolina, and it was in regard to college admissions, right? And whether or not race can be used to influence the people that could be admitted into certain schools, if not all schools. And I am just shocked that it took this long to be addressed, that it took this long for someone to say, look, you cannot judge a student's capability or ability to get into a particular college based on their skin color. That, by definition, is racism. And the left is currently in full-on meltdown mode about this one, and I just don't understand it. If you want to fight, say that you are fighting for the little guy, fighting for people of color, fighting for, equality, then what are you're using inequality methods to bolster your case? Because you're not doing a very good job.
Okay. This whole affirmative action case was based upon Asian Americans getting a fair shake because they were disproportionately represented on campus. Because let's face it, they're smarter. Black people run faster than white people, folks. You know what? I don't care. I'm not racist. Go piss up a rope. Black people are better athletes than most white people. That's just a fact. Now, there are anomalies. There's Larry Bird. I understand that. There's Stockton. I get it. Jokic. Things happen. Okay. I get it. But predominantly basketball, faster, jump higher than white people. White men can't jump. That's the truth. Olympics, 100-yard dash, 250 meters, whatever you want to say, most assuredly run faster than white people. That's just the way it is. You may not like that. I don't care. And Asian people are inherently smarter and richer and better off than every other racial demographic in the United States. That's just the truth, too.
That is true.
Okay? I don't care. And they can't drive worth a shit. Women and Asian people, they're right there together.
Have you seen Tokyo Drift?
Dude, I'm just saying. Okay. No, and you know what? A white guy beat the Asian. Enough said. I win. Ding, ding, ding. Give me the thing. Not only that, a redneck Texan who talked like this, he beat him. Absolutely. With my four-banger and my spung-up Toyota Honda engines. Yes, sirree, Bob, I did. I beat that little Chinaman. Walker. You know what it feels like when you beat a Chinaman? You want to do it again 30 minutes later. All right. Now, here's the thing. This is so Chief Judge. That's racist, right? Of course it's racist. I'm a racist. I'm such a horrible racist. You know what? Everybody gets it. This is Justice John Roberts. This guy's 68 years old. He is liberal. This guy, when he wipes his ass, he uses recycled toilet paper, okay? He is as liberal as they come. Underneath his robes, he wears Birkenstocks and Hawaiian shorts, all made out of hemp. This guy's a liberal, okay? Liberal. And this is what he just said. It has become a disturbing feature of some recent opinions to criticize the decisions with which they disagree. This is the most solidified court that we have ever seen. They vote together with zero dissension more often than any other court. That means 9-0s. Sometimes they do 8-0s and 7-0s because people have to dismiss themselves and recuse themselves from the case because of conflict of interest. But this court unanimously agrees more often than any other court. They are split on certain things that are not constitutionally driven, but politically driven. For instance, abortion. It's not an abortion. Abortion is not a right. But constitutionally, they stand by the Constitution better than any other court in the world. I don't consider this court in any way, shape, or form to be political unless you consider them following the Constitution, their jobs, as being politically ideologues. There's no demagoguery here. They are following the rule of the law. Forcing Americans to pay for somebody else's mistake is not constitutional. Saying abortion and murdering the rights of all life, including your own or somebody who's unborn, is against the law. Saying that somebody's black and white and you're screaming about equality and then saying you just made everyone equal, that's racist. You just took away rights that made us unequal and made everyone have equal rights, and then you said that goes against equality. Do you understand how stupid you sound as a liberal?
So there's a really
when
really
John
famous...
hold on when John Roberts stands up and says the left are being stupid, everyone should listen. The guy literally has an imprint on his ass from his NAACP card, his AARP card, his ACLU card, and his I donate blood to the bleeding heart causes of the world card, all imprinted on his ass as he sits in his fat ass leather chair and espouses liberal policy all day long, except for now, because this guy's saying even the left is driving me crazy. This stuff has to stop. We are not politicized. We're doing our jobs. You got to give him credit for speaking out against the left. And he's becoming radicalized against the left with his opinions and his dissenting opinions. If you read his dissenting opinion on affirmative action, it was hardly anywhere there. Even though he dissented, he still did not write anything scathing. He stands by the court's work. Go ahead, Leroy. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh,
I'm just
you're
pissed
fine.
off.
I was interrupting you more than anything else. There's a really famous quote, something that you had said just a moment ago, and it's by Thomas Sowell, and it goes, when people are used to preferential treatment, then equal treatment seems like discrimination. And nowhere does that seem more of an obvious statement than reading some of the headlines of today with regard to things like affirmative action. They're so used to unequal treatment, right? That now when equal treatment is being broadcast as no, this is the way things are supposed to be, now that is being politicized as discrimination. And it's disgusting.
I want to make one quick comment, and then we're going to put a bow on it. Okay? And by the way, when Barack Obama and Michelle Obama were playing grab ass and linking each other and trying to create drama over this, when they were trying to scream oppression from the rooftops at how oppressed they were, and America should be up in arms, here they are on a $600 million yacht out cruising in Greece, drinking wine and glad-handing as they're on a boat, showing you their dismay and horrible oppressed state as they're on vacation when it comes to affirmative action. It's ridiculous. The last thing I'm going to say about this, and then I'm going to pass it around the horn, and I'd like to get everyone else's opinion on this. I don't care what you think about Donald Trump. You don't have to like him. You don't have to love him. You can think he's a blowhard. You can think he's the greatest president in the world. You can say you never want to vote for him again. You can say you'll only vote for him. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. All I want you to do is vote, right? I don't care who you vote for. I've always said it. Just vote. Get out there. Bring 10 of your friends, and everyone get out there and vote. But if you're liking what you're seeing right now, if you are appreciative of what the court is doing, that Roe v. Wade was struck down. Not only that, but the Second Amendment pushes for the left, calling New York banning weapons unconstitutional. Virginia banning weapons as unconstitutional. California saying that flashers and certain bump stocks or certain stocks and high mags, it's unconstitutional. This court has went after abortion. They went after guns. They went after speech. They went after big tech. They've now went after affirmative action. They went after college tuition. They went after Obamacare and the constitutionality of mandates. What the hell is your problem? If you want to thank anybody, you better not thank the court. You better thank two people. And you may not like this because some of you are going to have to eat some crow. You better thank Donald Trump for having 3 Supreme Court justices put in under his term, and he kept his word to put in Republican, but more importantly, constitutionalist jurists. That's number one. And the second person you need to thank and get off their ass, just for a little bit, is Mitch McConnell. Because he challenged Merrick Garland and refused to confirm him and not put a vote on Merrick Garland. And look at that son of a bitch now. Look at what that guy's doing with the Department of Justice. He is about to be impeached. And you have Mitch McConnell to thank for that. Full stop, period. Mitch McConnell blocked that SCOTUS nominee, would not allow it to move forward, saved it for Donald Trump, and it gave you what you were looking for. It gave you Amy Coney Barrett, it gave you Brett Kavanaugh, and it gave you Gorsuch. Not Gorsuch. Is it Gorsuch? Gorsuch died. Is it Gorsuch died? No, Gorsuch is in. Help me. No, Gorsuch is in. Who's the guy that was before Gorsuch? Come on. Hold on.
No.
He replaced. No, Gorsuch is in. He was one Trump put in, but he replaced somebody. Huge Republican. Come on. Hold on. Can't believe I can't remember this. I'm so ashamed of myself. Antonin Scalia. Probably one of the greatest minds as far as a constitutionalist jurist. Anthony Scalia was one of the best. And Gorsuch replaced him. So you're talking Trump put in 3 constitutionalist judges. And here's the cool thing. Yes, they are Second Amendment supporters. Yes, they are anti-abortion. But their biggest consistency between Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett is actually voter ID. And I'm telling you right now, if you're upset about elections, if you're upset about the way they're ran in this country, and you believe voter ID should be absolutely in every single person's hand who votes, then you need to put a Republican in office. I am sick of hearing, I don't care if it's DeSantis, I don't care if it's Trump, I don't care if it's Nikki Haley, I don't care. Anyone but the fat whale from Jersey, Chris Christie. Otherwise, I'm okay with anybody in. But if you want the SCOTUS to continue to do what they're doing, we need the next vote. We need the next panel of jurists that retires. And if Clarence Thomas retires, then we need to be able to fill that seat. And the reason why is because the next big thing for the next 2024 push for the SCOTUS is going to be voter ID. And Coney Barrett and Kavanaugh and Gorsuch all believe, without any doubt, their strongest unilateral opinions that are tied together are voter ID. And that's why Trump put them in place. Not just for what we've already seen, but to get voter ID installed in the United States. Leroy, you haven't gone first in a long time to punch out. So you go ahead, you get your minute. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you want.
First of all, I would just add to the ass end of that. How else would anyone prove that they are, in fact, a citizen of the United States prior to voting, right? And because that is one of the requirements to be a citizen in order to vote, that's why the Republicans want it so badly. It's not, and you're hearing a lot of arguments on the left that basically say, oh, if someone doesn't have an ID, that's just voter suppression. No, you're following the law. You're basically showing you are eligible to vote because you're a citizen. How else are you going to do it? And if you can't, should you be able to vote? And what the left is basically saying is, yes, we want that to happen. And why? Because they love the idea, right, that the people that are, and I'm going to say it, the people that are here illegally would potentially vote in their favor. They are trying to cater to that audience. That's point one. Point two is, of all of the decisions that have been made in the last week, specifically when we're talking about Moore versus Harper, right? That was one where that was viewed as a huge hit against the Republicans. I kind of disagree. I kind of see that as, no, what we're looking at is this independent state legislator theory, which was one where the state could somehow overrule federal authority. And that's not what the Republicans want, but that's what that theory kind of suggests or hints to. And so even though it didn't work out in terms of in Republican favor, I still see that as a win. It is a win for liberty. Yeah, that's really about it. That's all I had.
Well, quickly, I also want to make a mention, because I would feel over the weekend if we don't, the 4th of July fireworks happening in France right now.
Oh, yeah.
What you're seeing is a leftist push and revolt against France. You are seeing Muslims and illegal immigrants rising up against the French government, and you are seeing armed insurrection. They cannot control it. There's looting. There's guns going off, explosions, fire. If you want to see what an insurrection looks like, go look at your leftist ideologues in France. The very much the same of the Justin Trudeau Canadians are what's in France right now. And Macron has created a complete uprising in his country with his decisions, with his policies, and complete neglect to control immigration. If you want to see what the United States can look like, continue to watch what's happening in France. I will be surprised if the military does not have to get involved. Declaring martial law in France and saying, that's it. The gloves come off. No more tear gas, no more rubber bullets, but we need to put a couple rounds down range and let these guys know it's time to disperse and go home.
I'm looking at some of the photos right now. My God, man, you're right.
Dude, things are on fire. It's all over the place. I've been watching this all day. Here, I'll show you this. Look at this real quick.
The videos were terrifying.
Of course it's terrifying. Yeah, it's horrible.
So this is the people fighting against the government.
Yeah. I mean, these are guys with AKs. Look at, they're in AKs in their vehicles. But remember, gun violence doesn't take place in Europe. There's no such thing. It's all, they've banned guns, so there's no guns. They're firing into apartment buildings. This is bad. France has fallen. Now I think that's a little much, but if we look at France, it's pretty bad, y'all.
That is unreal.
Yeah. So some of these videos, look at that. It's on fire. Guys are a mess. These are all leftists. Look at this. Turn off the audio. Look at these stores.
My God.
It's off the hook, man. They are completely out of control.
It says it was triggered. I'm reading a Reuters headline but it basically says that the whole thing was triggered by a deadly police shooting of a teenager in Algerian and Moroccan descent during a traffic stop.
Correct.
And so these are all just protests.
Yeah, but remember, they've been pissed at the government for a lot of other things, right? So this is kind of like the Michael Brown. Michael Brown was the caveat. It was the linchpin. But remember, they're the ones that wanted to raise the age of Social Security, right? Because they should.
Right.
And we should too. So a lot of the decisions, they were very much on the lockdowns in France and were very heavy-handed, probably one of the most restrictive countries in France of alienating human rights and shutting down businesses, just like Trudeau. So this has been a while now. They're angry, and they've been rioting for the last year and a half since COVID. But yeah, this guy's just firing a shotgun in the air. You can see the spray from the shotgun. That's a shotgun.
Yeah.
He's just firing buckshot in the air, and it's insane. This goes on for hours. Look at this stuff. Look at these buses. Watch this thing. These buses are trying to get out because they're pulling people out and they're beating the hell out of them. I mean, this is like Escape from New York.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. France is in some serious shit. Look at this. Here. If you guys aren't on Twitter, you really need to get on Twitter. It is now the news station of America. You get some of the rawest stuff on Twitter. And you've got to filter it, mind you. You've got to filter it. But this is what's going on. This is like the summer of love from the liberals, man. This looks like the Michael Brown incident. This is summer of love.
Why is that too? Why is it that every time that happens, it's like they have to bring matches and gasoline to go have a party? I never understood that.
Look at this one real quick, and then Olivia, I want you to go.
Horrible.
Look at this real quick.
My God,
it's all over, man. I mean, there's hundreds. This looks like Devil's Night in Detroit, man, and Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. Olivia, yeah, Olivia, go ahead.
Okay, so if that were happening in the United States right now, which group would be up in arms and doing the rioting?
Black Lives Matter and Antifa.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, unless you think Patriot Front is a real threat. But Republicans have one major riot and whatever to their name, and that's January 6th.
And they're writing against, in France, they're writing against the government?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's essentially a mini revolution, because there's been several decisions by Macron and the French government, and they are pushing a lot of tyrannical rule, higher taxes. France is not doing well from a military standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from a global perspective. They've shut down businesses. The police are using heavy-handed tactics against these protests, and they're sick of it. But this leftist group is saying, screw it. And these are the leftist nationalists. This is the alt-left who are creating this and essentially revolting in France. And you'll see the same thing in Canada if Trudeau continues to not push. Susan, it doesn't matter whether fires were on January 6th. If you condone January 6th, then it's foolhardily to do that. I'm not going to get in this argument with you. Any Republican that defends that, it doesn't matter that there were no fires. It was stupid. It gave the left all the ammunition against Republicans. Can you name one major riot, one major event, one physical protest, one looting situation that Republicans have ever done in history? I'll wait. Okay. Then giving them any ammunition. I mean, we were able to sit on Mount Sinai and be omnipotent and say, look at you. Look at what you do. Look at what you've done. And that one, it doesn't matter if it's a different level. Well, Susan.
Well, because
Susan,
you can't really.
Susan, it doesn't matter if it's a different level. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It was desecration on U.S. soil. This is our home capital. This is the people's house. There is no excuse for any Republican, and we can disagree on this. You can call in and talk. I'm not mad at you. I have had this conversation 1,000 times. There is nobody yet who can convince me that January 6th was a good thing. And if it wasn't a good thing, and it wasn't a middle of the road thing, then it most assuredly was a bad thing. And if it was a bad thing, it was stupid. Republicans believe in the law. We believe in the, okay, then don't agree with it at all. See, here's the thing. You can't ride the fence on this one. You can't weave between the fence posts. There wasn't good and bad on January 6th. It was all bad. Minus the 57,000 people who were there peacefully to see Donald Trump. But those things are mutually exclusive. They're completely different. None of them have anything to do with each other. There were three major groups, the 57,000, the 3,000, and the 150. The 3,000 some were let in, some weren't. Some sprayed fire extinguishers, some tore up paintings, some stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop, some took pictures, some were just walking and perusing. And the 150 were there to cause harm and threaten 3 Capitol Police officers with death. There was no good there. And we need to stop condoning it and making excuses and talking about the FBI and Antifa and all that. It doesn't matter. Our answer should be, I don't support that, I don't believe in that, and I wasn't there. So stop maligning me with those people. I don't like those people. Those people are not Trump supporters. Those people want to cause violence, and we don't support that. Let BLM do that. Let Antifa do that. We are better than that.
Exactly.
And if we condone it, we're not. That's it. Leroy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to be in a complete agreement with you.
You condone it when you make excuses. I'm sorry, I got to keep going. You condone it when you make excuses for it. When you say it wasn't that bad, or it wasn't the same, or there weren't fires, you're condoning actions. You're saying because of A, B equals C. You can't do that. January 6th, in its own right, was completely wrong and abhorrent and should never have taken place, just like every one of the BLM riots. But what's funny is we don't make the distinction between the 284 BLM events that did not be a riot, that were completely peaceful. We only bring up the 196 that caused $2.5 billion in damage and label the BLM as a complete terrorist organization, even though many of them were not. I'm sorry, but this is a topic I'm very passionate about. And the moment we say it's not the same, or there wasn't a fire, or there weren't that many people, or there wasn't as much damage, it doesn't matter. It was still chaos. It was still anarchy. Go ahead, Leroy.
When we're talking about the groups that have been protesting for the last 5, 6, 10, 20 years, it doesn't matter, right? We're not talking about moderate people. We're talking about the 10% extremes who exist on either end of the political spectrum. Either they are completely political left and they want Marxism, or they could be political right. And I'm not sure what that looks like because I've never really seen a dictatorial libertarian. But let's just say, for example, they were Trump supporters. Okay, fine. Well, that's still what to Matt's point. That's 80 to 90% of the people that were there that day did not go into the Capitol. We're talking about the very few, the couple of hundred people, the 10% that were there that caused harm, that did damage. That we absolutely need to look at that and say those people are wrong.
Period.
You don't ever go over to somebody else's house, smash their windows, tell them that it's my way or the highway. You don't do that. By definition, if you want to consider yourself a conservative, then you kind of have to be conservative. That's not what conservatives do. That's not right wing. Not true right wing, anyway.
All right. Okay, and you know what? I'm sick of the alt-right being lumped in with Republicans. There is nothing about the alt-right and the alt-left that have anything to do with liberal principles or conservative principles at all. Modern-day liberalism is not classic liberalism, because Republicans should believe in classic liberalism, because that's what we were all founded on. The Federalists and Anti-Federalists did not disagree about liberalism. They disagreed with the size of the government and how much it should be involved in people's lives. This whole thing about liberalism started with Lyndon Baines Johnson and the Great Society, where the government gets involved and takes care of everybody. And without the government, you can't survive. Like Erica Marsh said, black people won't survive without affirmative action because they're not smart enough. What? You just said what, you dumb freaking... I'm not coming down on anybody. But if you follow my channel and you support January 6th or make excuses for it, you're not going to be happy here. Because that is the one thing that I do not support. There may be very well be a time for a revolution. There may be a time for civil unrest. It's not now. And we have many options, which is to get up off our asses and activate and actually do something. I'm walking the walk. I sat at home. I made my money. I collected my corporate 401ks and I set myself up for a beautiful retirement. And then I said, no more. I've got something to say. And I threw it all away and I came on here and started creating a show. And whether that was a good decision or a bad decision, we're going to find that out. This is my penance. This is my activation of what I'm trying to do, inspire people and move them to a better line of critical thinking, whether it's popular or not. And I will never apologize for it. And I can be doxxed. I can be laughed at. I can have millions of people come on and stalk my Twitter page like they're doing to Erica Marsh and Krassenstein and others, and I will never apologize. I will never write you a 3-page tweet explaining why I'm right and you're wrong. I just don't give a shit. My opinion is mine alone, and I will never apologize for it. I will never kiss anyone's ass for it, and you should do the same thing. You should not apologize for those people on January 6th because they were wrong. And the other things that are happening and them in prison without due process, yeah, all of that. Yes, it sucks. But guess what? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the difference between right and wrong. And there are no gray areas in that. It's either right or it's wrong. Leroy, you got your minute. I'm giving it over to Olivia. I apologize. We had to bring that up. Want to get your opinions on what we talked. Last minute, Olivia, and then Amy gets to bring us home for the night.
All right. So I'm real sick of people saying that they can speak for other people.
Somebody delete Sarah Corner, please. Listen, you may be, come with me if you want to live, Sarah Corner, but you're about ready to get taken out by my Terminator ass. Someone boot her, please. By the way, can you find a woman who's actually beautiful, not somebody who looks like they went through a DuPont chemistry experiment and lost? Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't see the comment.
It's okay.
So I'm just so sick of people saying that they can speak for other people better than they can. I'm sick of men saying that they're better women than actual women are. I'm sick of white people saying that they know what's best for black people or think they need to speak up because black people are still being oppressed or aren't smart or whatever. And it's ridiculous. And it's getting to the point where it needs to stop. And people need to mind their own business and do their own thing and stop trying to live their lives through other people.
Vicariously through others.
Yeah, do your own thing. Stop trying to speak for other people. I don't need Dylan Mulvaney telling me how to be a woman and what it's like to be a woman. I don't need that. And I'm sure the black people out there don't need white people out there saying that you're so oppressed and you can't get a driver's license and you can't do this and you can't do that. How do you know? You're not black. So you have no idea what
One
it's like
thing
to live
I
in
will
the
not-
inner cities. You don't know what it's like to live in the suburbs, as that senator or whoever that was said. You know.
Liv, listen.
Hi.
Hi, Dylan.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Hi.
We gotta get that sound bite.
I've got it. Hi.
Hi.
All right, I gotta make a comment because Dan thinks I'm funny. Every show, Dan goes, "Oh, Matt's hilarious." Well, you know what? Dan's not gonna find me hilarious right now. And Dan, I'm sorry, but you walked into the proverbial mess before I give it over to Amy. Olivia, very well said.
Thank you. I actually did my last minute.
I love it. I love it. You need to have your minute. January 6th, 2020. January 6, 2021 should not have happened. Okay, now here's the but. See, that was a full sentence, and you should have stopped. January 6th should not have happened, period. You're done. Wonderful. Fantastic. You crushed it. You nailed it. Simplification above personification. Fantastic. I'm proud of you. Well done. Should we stop there? We should, but then you had to say but, which means everything you said before that, precluding that statement, you didn't believe. It's like saying, I'm sorry, but I'm about to tell you why I'm not. Hey, Amy, I'm really sorry for interrupting your 1 minute, but I really needed to get this through. I'm sorry, Taylor. I'm going to let you finish, but I'm going to go ahead and say something during your Emmy nomination or Grammy or whatever the hell she won. Who gives a shit? But it is no insurrection act because for that to happen, you have to come armed. Well, that's the legal definition, but that's not the written definition of insurrection. And when you're a reporter, go look up the difference between the legal definition of insurrection and the written definition, and they used it in the right context. It's actually an overthrow of authority. It is a revolt against authority. It is breaking the law in the face of authority. That's what an insurrection is. The legal definition to be charged with a crime is completely different, and that happens all the time. And ready to overthrow the government. And there was 2 buses full of BLM and Antifa dressed up as Trump supporters to stir up chaos. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. I don't care if it was Mother Teresa, Dr. Fauci, and Jesus Christ on the bus. I don't care how convincing they are. The moment that Fauci, Mother Teresa, and Jesus said, Matthew, come with us. We're going to go ahead and we're going to storm the Capitol. And we're going to have zip ties. And we're going to take people hostage. My answer is, get the fuck out of here. Good night.
No, thank you.
Have a good one. I am out of here, and I am not coming back. Plain and simple. And everyone should have done that. This is what would happen.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. All right then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
That's it. End of story. End of conversation. I appreciate the comment, Dan. Amy, last word. Tell us all about it.
Gosh, I don't know what to say tonight. Sorry, I was distracted for a little bit too, so I apologize for that. I think though, when Olivia was talking, I thought I had a thought, a light bulb moment. I think what would be a really good show is for me and Olivia to identify as trans men who identify as women and live a life as them for a day. So I want to be, or maybe it
wait.
You
want to pretend to be a man pretending to be a woman?
Yeah.
It's called Tootsie.
I think if I could just
Victor Victoria.
Yeah, Victor Victoria.
Mulvania. Mulvania.
It's a country. I want to go to Mulvania.
Dylan, did you say Volvania?
I would like to. I'll be Dylan.
Volnays? I don't understand.
Dylan Balvaney. And
Dylan the Mulvinator. That would even be better. Like, I'll be back.
Mulvinator. Yeah.
I'll be back.
I don't know. Anyways, that was my thought process. I'm like, what would it be like to pretend, if I'm a woman, to pretend to be a man, pretending to be a woman, and just live a life like that for a day? Like really oversell it, and I don't know. No idea. That's my last thought. I'm sorry. I was distracted, and
like
I'm
fishnets
sorry.
and
I don't think he wears fishnets though. That's not.
But if you're a dude pretending to be a girl, then you're going to overdo it, right? And so I would think that if I was a guy pretending to be a girl,
I gotta have
would want
makeup and like the contour and I don't know.
Yeah, like
Dave
you
just
totally
said
oversell it.
Transylvania.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. That's so good.
God,
Oh,
I would
that's
love to cut
awesome.
this, but we would get banned.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I'm not coming down on anybody. You can feel what you want about J6. That's your business. Just understand that when you talk about it here, I'm going to challenge your thought process. I'm going to go ahead and say I disagree. And I think it was a tarnish on the Republican Party and conservatives, most importantly Americans. We've had our revolution. We fought for this government. We should fight to keep it. And that's what Ben Franklin said, right? What type of government have you given us? Given you a republic, sir, if you can keep it. Well, we should try to keep it. And it takes us to do that. And the American people have the power. You should never forget that. The United States government doesn't have a Bill of Rights. They don't have a constitution. That's ours. And we have to take it back. And it starts with the courts. This is why I said, hands down, single-handedly, the most important thing that has happened in the last 100 years of American history is what Donald Trump did to the Supreme Court and stabilizing the court with a constitutionalist bench so we could unscrew so many things that have destroyed what we have. The left are going to continue. You know you're on the right track because they're melting down. You know the right things are happening because they can't stand it and they want to cheat. And they're openly saying that. We want to pack the court. They're even calling it pack the courts. They're calling for it. And this is exposing who they are, that they don't care about the Constitution. Imagine these debates. Joe Biden, please tell me what you've done in the last 4 years to protect the Constitution of the United States. That one question will torpedo his entire presidency. Please give me one example of how you have advocated for the protection of the Constitution of the United States for the American people. Whoever that Republican is, I don't care if it's Trump or DeSantis or anyone else, if they ask that question, Joe Biden is fucked. Because the American people will listen. Everyone will lean into their TVs at that time. Because people, the one thing is that this 3% on the left and right, they don't decide the election. The 90% of the voters are going to get involved in the next 9 to 12 months. And when they do, they're going to be listening and saying, this is not what we heard 4 years ago. This is nothing like, they haven't been paying attention. They don't watch the news. They don't follow these sites. They follow cooking channels and Kim Kardashian and whatever the fuck's on MTV now, MTV 8. They don't care about politics except for the last 3 to 6 months of the election year. And when they get back into the fray and they start reading the notes of the last 4 years and listening to the type of language which is taking place from the Biden administration and listen to the legislation and they litigate the case during debates and show what Biden has actually done and why the United States is where it's at, the voters are going to speak, and they always do. They did in 2016. They did in 80, and they did in 84. They did with Bush. They did with Clinton. The American voter will have the say. And trust me, they're not going to be happy when they hear it. All right, folks, that's it for mine. Anybody else? Leroy, go. You got something quick?
One quick second, something that you said that I thought was really, really important with regard to the January the Sixers. I think there's been so many people who will look at something like a 1984 type scenario or a V for Vendetta, and those are the people that were inflamed enough to want to go down and support Donald Trump, and were inflamed enough to eventually storm into the Capitol. But the thing to remember is, to Matt's point, we're not there yet. This is not a 1984 type scenario.
No.
There's no reason whatsoever to turn this movement violent.
That's right.
We are not at a revolutionary type stage yet, folks.
Not even close.
No, we're nowhere near close. Probably won't happen within the next 100 years, 200 years. We hope. And that's our point. That's the point of the show, is that we need to keep it academic. We need to keep it focused on the Constitution and the law and the Bill of Rights. And if we do that, tyranny will never win. That's all I have.
Last thing, and then I'm really done. Ronald Reagan's overall popularity poll was 41% in 1984. And he single-handedly had the biggest landslide election win ever in U.S. history, winning 49 states out of 50. And the only one that he didn't win was Minnesota, and it was this close because Walter Mondale was a VP and failed ultimately in every aspect. Ronald Reagan wiped the freaking floor, and his approval rating was 41%. Stop listening to the polls. Stop focusing that Donald Trump has this locked up, because guess what? He doesn't. There is a hell of a lot of game to go. We're not even in the preseason yet. The draft is happening right now. We don't know where it's going to be. And I'm not speaking down on Trump. I'm not pumping up DeSantis. I don't care. I want a very contentious primary where Republicans go after each other for the facts. And then they sicken on Joe Biden. And trust me, whoever the Republican nominee, that will be a question in the debate. And it may not be poised by CBS or ABC, but I guarantee you that that opponent will chime in and say, whether it be DeSantis or Trump or whoever, will say, you know, Joe, that's a really great point. Explain to me what you've done for the Constitution in the last 4 years and how you have literally not tried to tear it apart. Yeah. Joe Biden will not be able to answer that question. He will stutter, he will lie, and you'll be able to crush him. That's the one question he will never be able to answer. That's all I got. Agreed. Olivia?
Somebody had a question, but it's a hockey question, so I don't know.
Quickly go.
All right.
Okay.
Kevin Smith wants to know, what are your thoughts on the Blackhawks drafts so far?
I think the Blackhawks are going to be a much improved team. They still had a good team. They finished the end of the year and the second half of the season, respectively. I think they're going to be weak on goaltender, but I think they've got a very strong defensive core. They're a physical core. They remind me of the Bob Probert days. They've got a lot of good young rookies. They need a couple pieces to remain competitive. I think they miss the playoffs next year because the West is going to level out. I think your bottom feeders are going to be Vegas. I think you're going to see San Jose not be improved, Anaheim not be improved. Vegas is not going to be a bottom feeder. It's going to be a probably top 3 team. Edmonton will also finish in the same. The Colorado Avalanche are looking very poised. They have the right signings. They've got the right pace. They're going to be healthy. They've made ungodly amount of trades. They have absolutely destroyed the West so far in the draft. And they've now got a second center. They've bolstered on defense. They got a couple young great rookies. They got amazing picks for Newhook. They've got $8.5 million in cap space, and they need a couple forwards and a defenseman. And they have the most rich drafting defenseman core in the West. So I think the Avs come out of the West. They will contend and beat anybody the East puts ahead. As we saw, the Eastern Conference is weak. They play each other and they play subpar teams. And the disparity in the East is obviously showing up as the West dominates. Colorado Avalanche kicked the living shit out of Tampa Bay, and the Vegas Golden Knights did the exact same thing to the Hurricanes. Florida Panthers. So Chicago is going to look good. They're not going to make the playoffs next year, but they will be probably 5-6 games above 500 is my gut. You don't have a goalie, and you don't have the money to go get a goalie. That's why. Okay. Any other questions about hockey? Great. Folks, let's break. Go over to the DUM Show at thedumshow.com. And if you're looking to buy some cool shirts, some hats, some coffee, we've got some amazing coffee. Go over there. Made by a veteran. It's freshly made. Every time you get the box, you open up and it smells like coffee. He roasts it 3 days before he ships it and sends it to you. All veteran made. Go over there, thedumshow.com. Buy some of the cool shirts for Olivia.
I am ordering a polo, right? I'm going to order it tonight.
Yeah, I need to get one for Jason, too.
Okay, use the code or just ask me and I'll get you, whatever. I love you guys.
Stick to the code.
Stick to the code.
It's more like guidelines anyway.
That was good. A little bit of Pirates of the Caribbean. Go to thedumshow.com. We'll see you guys. Go buy some coffee. Go do all that stuff. We will be back Monday night with a new show recorded and live.
Actually, we're probably not going to be on Monday.
Why?
Because we're going tubing and
we're going to be on when we get home. We're going to be on when we get home. I'll be on Monday, so we'll figure it out.
Harper's Ferry for tubing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm dying to take my kids. It's like the weather's been terrible though, so I'm like, we haven't gone.
I think we're gonna go Monday. It's not supposed to rain.
Just
Monday.
Let us know. We'd love to go with you guys. We're gonna get off the air. We got to go. We're gonna go save the world for Diablo. It's Diablo weekend. Got to go have some fun.
Yeah. 4th weekend in a row.
Whatever. Good night, everybody. God bless. Hey, love you, Leroy.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
See you guys. We're out like we always are with the Veteran Crisis Line. Please take care of veterans. 22 commit suicide a day. Remember, everyone deployed. Good night.
Night.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call